It's hard to believe Donald Trump was first elected to the United States Senate when I was negative 8 years old. That's true. President Biden was elected when I was negative 8 years old. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, you are, because they're both old. And so just stop, guys. Oh, well. Republican Congressman Brian Stile in his opening act for Donald Trump's rally in Wisconsin on Tuesday. How'd it go for you? Totally botching an attempt at a joke about President Biden's age, but by mistake, totally making fun of Donald Trump's age. We're 1 week away from this cycle's first presidential debate, and Donald Trump appears to be lowering expectations and making excuses. During his rally in Wisconsin on Tuesday, he even pushed the conspiracy that Biden could only perform well if he's pumped up on drugs.
Is anybody going to watch the debate? He's going to be so pumped up. He's going to be pumped up. You know all that stuff that was missing about a month ago from the White House? What happened? Who left it? Somebody left it there. I wonder, let's see, somebody left a laptop in an office of a gentleman who was supposed to fix the laptop from hell. He never picked it up, and somebody didn't pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cocaine. I wonder who that could have been. I don't know. Actually, I think it was Joe.
Trump also told his followers to be suspicious of the whole debate enterprise, although his campaign negotiated the terms of his participation and agreed. He added that he'll be up against multiple adversaries at once, not just Biden, but both of CNN's moderators, who Trump said are incapable of treating him fairly. Really? And when it comes to Trump's debate preparations, he's reportedly been meeting with policy experts and other allies rather than holding mock debates. Republican Senators Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance have also been involved in these meetings. Oh, great. Meanwhile, President Biden will begin debate preps at Camp David. According to Politico, Biden's longtime advisor and first White House Chief of Staff, Ron Klain, is involved in the prep sessions. Last month, the chair of Biden's re-election campaign put out a memo explaining the president will aim to go on the offensive and push Trump to talk about how his 3 appointees to the Supreme Court helped overturn Roe v. Wade and how he could further undermine abortion rights in a second term. Ed Luce, your new piece is entitled "The Mother of All U.S. Presidential Debates." What are you expecting? Set the scene for us.
Well, the important thing, Mika, I think, is that the terms and the rules of next week's debate mostly suit Biden. They're the ones Biden requested. No live audience, which Trump, of course, needs and feeds off, so that's bad for Trump. Mic of the one not speaking gets turned off. They're muted. Ditto. And then there's 2 commercial breaks. I guess you could see them as, given both men's age, as bathroom breaks. But the interesting thing here is I think this is going to be one of the few presidential debates, this and the one scheduled for September, that could sway an election. There's only really been 3, and that was the first between Nixon and Kennedy, first bunch in 1960, which had a huge impact for those who watched it on TV, as opposed to listening to it on the radio, in a very close election. There's 2 that Carter fought, the one that he won in 1976 against Ford, where he got Ford partly with your father's advice and coaching to say there was no Soviet control of Poland or Hungary or Czechoslovakia, and alienated tons of voters of East European origin in the Midwest states in a very close election. And then finally Carter losing to Reagan, when all Reagan needed to do was basically turn up, be genial, and show that he wasn't insane. He wasn't going to start a nuclear war. He duly did that, and he defeated Carter. I think this debate between Biden and Trump in what is an equally close election to those first 2 is hugely consequential. It's sky-high importance. And there are really sort of two parameters. One is we want not to be talking. Biden wants people not to be talking about his age, and he wants people to be talking about Trump's character. That's really the goal here.
So it's so interesting, Sam Stein. I mean, you already saw Donald Trump on stage suggesting that President Biden will be on cocaine. To back up the point I'll make here, this individual, this candidate, this convicted felon plays dirty. He plays ugly. He's done it many times in the past. We could spend the next 3.5 hours listing his lies. We wouldn't get through them. He lies like a rug. And gaslights people. And I actually think this could be a very fraught territory for President Biden, or any other candidate who wants to have an equal playing field and really debate the issues. And on top of that, this former president has a number of so-called news networks that will amplify and back up his conspiracies, his gaslighting, and his lies. How fraught a territory do you think this is for President Biden to step into?
I guess it just depends on how much cocaine he has, right? No, it's very fraught, I think, in a way that people don't quite appreciate. It's not just because Biden himself is facing a lot of critical views on his age and performance, although that, in a way, could lower the bar for him. But historically speaking, incumbent presidents who are debating for the first time tend to perform poorly. Ed is right about consequential debates historically, but I would add one into the mix that almost was historical in nature, and that was Barack Obama's first debate with Mitt Romney, where Barack Obama came out and really fell flat on his face, gave an incredible amount of momentum to Mitt Romney's campaign that Romney almost used to catapult in the polls. If not for Hurricane Sandy in the close of the election, it could have ended up very differently, potentially. Joe Biden, this will be his first debate. He has not sat for that many adversarial interviews, which are good prep work for a debate. He's going to Camp David for intensive debate preparation sessions, but this is always difficult for a president because they're not used to it. I'm not saying Trump is used to it. He doesn't sit for that many adversarial debates and, interviews, but this is different for Biden. That being said, the closest parallel that we have to judge us by the template is when the two of them met last cycle in 2020. And that first debate for Trump was a disaster. He talked all over Biden. He talked over the moderator. He seemed genuinely crazed in the moment. I believe he had COVID, which was not great at the time. And so, it's possible that we have a replay of that in which Biden comes out, simply clears the very low bar that's been set for him by Trump. And viewers say, OK, maybe we were wrong about the issues of age and stamina.
To quote Sam Stein, he had COVID, which was not great. That is certainly true. The diagnosis did not come for a couple more days, though. Let's bring into this conversation special correspondent at Vanity Fair and host of the Fast Politics podcast, Molly Jong-Fast. She is an MSNBC political analyst. Molly, I want to go to you. Actually, Sam started to take us where I wanted to go with you at this point. It's true. Incumbent presidents often struggle in that first debate because, A, they're usually not primaried, so therefore they don't have any debates against fellow members of their own party, and then, B, they're rarely challenged while in the White House in the Oval Office. So that's usually an advantage to the challenger. However, in this case, Donald Trump also sat out the primary process. He didn't do any debates. He doesn't sit for adversarial interviews, so he's not going to be sharp either. So this might be two, frankly, rusty competitors